Available now on virtual rental and video on demand and digital download or streaming is a new sci-fi film from director Noah Hutton entitled LAPSIS. This is a film that is set in, they used to say set 5 minutes in the future. This is a sci-fi film, but it's really set in the world around us. Basically, the scenario for this is that a new quantum technology has come along, and in order for this to work, and this technology, by the way, powers everything. It powers communication and computers and everything. This is what you need to be able to be, and it's sort of like, you need internet now, and this is the next level. You need quantum to be able to be relevant. In order for this to work, they have to hire people to walk through wooded areas and basically hiccup? They do it so fast they get hiccups. They have to hook up these large cables, fiber optic cables that run from point A to point B, and it's sort of a booming economy for people. Sort of like itinerant workers of the modern day, where they go out in the woods with a backpack with whatever their supplies are. They have a little spool of cable they're given, and they attach it magnetically to one of these giant quantum cubes. They walk their route through the woods, they attach it to the other side, and they get paid via this little mobile app thing. So this film focuses on one guy, this actor Dean Imperial, who I've never seen before, but who's excellent. He reminded me of a cross between like Bruce Willis and James Gandolfini. There was this like instant familiarity and likability of this guy. He's just a working guy. He's got a brother who's suffering from some weird sickness that some people say is a hoax and some people say is real, and there are institutes set up to treat this weird malady. Our hero is a courier. He just drives a van delivering things all day. And he's doing okay, but he doesn't really have enough money to get treatment for his sick brother that he really wants to help out. So he's basically, through a back door, gets hooked up with this quantum cabling service and goes out into the woods with all these other people. And sort of, we learn through him how this whole thing works. And the meat of the movie really is that. It's this character's experience with all these people who are cablers and who are doing it, to make really good money. And the way he's let in it's dubious. He's given a leg up to get sort of a little bit farther ahead in this job than he should have normally earned. And there's this weird undercurrent of something is not quite right here. Part of it is in how it's shot. Part of it's in little strange things that our character sees and hears, and part of it is the tone, this weird undertone of music. And it was fascinating to me, the world that this movie sets up. Again, it's science fiction, but it's not lasers and mutants and monsters. It's people trying to earn a living and get by. It's a new technology, and there's that whole undercurrent of, well, could this technology be at the root of why his brother is sick, and what's behind this technology? Is it sinister? Is it corporate greed? It gets a lot into that. There's a lot of discussion and undercurrent of, corporate greed and manipulation and exploitation of workers and itinerant workers and the gig economy. And it doesn't get too preachy. There are a couple of characters in the film that sort of espouse various ideals, but it's the world that it sets up is so real and so believable and so fascinating and so relevant to the world around us right now. This film, I don't even remember how long this movie was. It could have been another 30 or more minutes longer. As far as I was concerned, I was so invested in this main character and his discovery as just a normal Joe as to what's going on here and whether he buys into or comes to agree with some of these philosophies about corporate and worker and all that other stuff. I will say, I loved this movie, okay? I really liked this. I would highly recommend watching this. This reminded me in a very, very vague way of a movie called Primer that came out several years ago, which was a time travel movie, but there was no special effects in it. It was just well written and well constructed and simply shot, but it conveyed a really interesting message, and it conveyed an interesting ideas far outside this sort of simple look of the film. And LAPSIS has that. Again, it's kind of sci-fi because it deals with a technology we don't currently have, but it's really about people and about corporations and the structure of the economy and things like that, not in a boring way. And at one point, the movie kind of takes a turn, which it made it a little less interesting to me, and it felt like, and I'm just being honest because I liked it so much. It sort of feels like it just ends. There is sort of a climax, And I actually had to rewind the movie because when it ended, I was like, wait, did I miss something? Was there something bigger that happened that I don't get? But it does have an ending and it logically wraps up. It's just, I think maybe I was so into it, maybe I wanted it to be something grander or bigger than it was. But I would highly, highly recommend LAPSIS. This is available everywhere now. It'll eventually be on home video. So if you're watching this on YouTube in a year or two, hey, it's on video now. But right now, this is something that you'd have to rent to see, and I would recommend it. This is the kind of movie that I would have seen at an Alamo Drafthouse and been very happy with if it was a normal world. Unlike, or very much like the world of LAPSIS, it's not a normal world. But at any rate, I would highly recommend the new film, LAPSIS.